York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello has been fired.
The WNBA just dropped another bombshell, and this time it's the New York Liberty making headlines. They fired their legendary coach Sandy Brondello out of nowhere. But here's the wild twist. That insane decision might actually be a blessing in disguise, because guess who's smiling right now? The Indiana Fever. If you think the Fever and Caitlin Clark need Brondello as head coach, right, grab Brondello now in the comments below.
Code red, everybody alert, Sandy Brondello is out on the market. We got a shark out on the market.
Because let's be real, she's not just another coach. She's the only one who could transform her into the undisputed GOAT of the WNBA.
Look, we can fix a lot of this we messed up. We can fix a lot of things that were messed up in the past off season. Let's fix it. Let's not be stubborn. Let's fix it. Let's go get Sandy Brondello.
And that's exactly the problem, isn't it? The more fans scream for this move, the more it feels like the league will never let this happen. Because if you look closely, there is an entire WNBA agenda against the Caitlin-Sandy partnership. And in this video, I'm going to expose it all. Let's get into it.
Now, to me, Sandy doesn't strike me as a yes man. She strikes me as somebody, when she's talking to the general manager, she's going to speak her mind. She's just not going to, yes, GM, yes. Yes, general manager, I agree. Yes, general manager, I agree.
Okay, New York Liberty are out of the playoffs. They had a brilliant run in the regular season, no doubt about that. But when the stage shifted to the playoffs against the Phoenix Mercury, they just couldn't make it through.
And it doesn't mean you win every year, you know? There can be rough years in between, but you continue to stay competitive and you invest in what you have, you invest in your leadership.
And honestly, there was a reason. Their key players, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones, were all carrying injuries. But did they stop? Nope, they still played. Warriors refusing to quit. Stewart even dropped 30 points in that decisive game. A stunning effort. Brave to the core, but somehow with the weight of it all, the Liberty couldn't push through. And just like that, the dream ended.
27-17, ravaged by injury all season long. Jonquel Jones out for a good part of the season. Brianna Stewart dealing with a knee issue during the playoffs. They lose in round one.
Now, here's the most interesting part. After the exit, the players didn't throw shade at their coach, Sandy Brondello. Not at all. They stood right behind her, loud, confident, ready to roar back next season with the same leader at the helm. Just watch this clip that's buzzing all over the internet.
What would you say to those who question whether Sandy should be here next year to coach you guys again? I'm not saying I question it. There's just some people that do.
I mean, to anybody that kind of questions Sandy being here, like, this is a resilient group, and she has our back and we have hers. And the way that she continued to kind of, I don't know, deal with the cards she was dealt, like, was incredible. It wasn't easy for anybody, but she came in every day with a positive attitude and a mindset to put us in our best positions possible and best foot forward. So we're not going to be a team that points fingers. You know, there's a lot of us that could have done better this season, but we're still going to fight and show up for each other every single day, and I think that's what's the most important part. So we have Sandy's back.
Thanks, everyone.
But then, just a day later, everything flipped. The Liberty's general manager announced they would not renew Brondello's contract for next season.
New York Liberty released a statement. The New York Liberty announced today that head coach Sandy Brondello's contract will not be renewed for the 2026 season. We would like to thank Sandy Brondello for her everlasting impact on the New York Liberty, said Jonathan Cobb, general manager of the New York Liberty. Sandy finishes her tenure in New York as the winningest coach in franchise history, and she took us to never-before-seen heights as the first head coach to lead the Liberty to a championship. We wish Sandy the very best in her next chapter. The organization will begin the search for its next head coach immediately.
And this news, oh man, it hit like a thunderclap. Fans couldn't believe it. Analysts shredded the decision. Even rival teams were shaking their heads in disbelief.
I just saw this news and I went, what the bleep? Literally, audibly out of my mouth, what the F?
Yes, the WNBA can be messy. Surprises are part of the game. But this, nobody, and I mean nobody, saw it coming. Because here's the thing. Liberty didn't just lose a coach, they lost their best shot at another championship. And that's why people are calling it the most disastrous decision in Liberty history.
2026 season. We would like to thank Sandy Brondello for her everlasting impact on the New York Liberty.
And why exactly is that? Stick around, because once you rewind and see the whole picture of Sandy Brondello, her record, her legacy, her impact, you'll be shouting the same word everyone else is shouting: horrendous. So who is Sandy Brondello? Let me put it simply. She's not just a good coach, she's one of the best, one of the most sought-after coaches in the entire WNBA. And no, that's not just some fancy title, that's respect she has earned brick by brick, season after season.
2 WNBA championships, and the year before, in 2023, won the Eastern Conference title. I mean, what are we doing? She's got a .600 winning percentage and a ton of experience.
I mean, just look at her journey with the New York. She joined them in 2022, and guess what? Right in her first season, she led the team straight into the playoffs. Seriously, first year and already delivering results? That's called setting the tone. Then came 2023. Oh boy, a powerhouse season. 32 wins, just 8 losses, and a trip to the WNBA Finals. They didn't win the trophy, but the message was clear. Liberty were back, and they were dangerous.
The last 3 seasons, Sandy Brondello, 32-8, made the finals, lost to the Las Vegas Aces. 2024, made the finals, beat the New York Liberty.
And then 2024, that was the season dreams are made of. Liberty won their first ever WNBA championship, a nail-biting Game 5 against the Minnesota Lynx into overtime. And finally, history was written. A fairy tale ending, right? Brondello turned the New York Liberty into champions for the very first time. Now, fast forward to 2025. Injuries everywhere. Stewart, Sabrina, and Jones all banged up, and still Brondello dragged the team into the playoffs. Honestly, that alone is a massive achievement. No wonder the players were standing shoulder to shoulder with her after the loss.
Moments after a painful Game 3 loss, Brondello said the group was, quote, very disappointed, but she couldn't be more proud of her players. We faced adversity this year, which happens in sports, but we left it all out there. And that's all you can ask of this team.
And here's the stat that blows my mind. Across just 4 seasons, Brondello's record with the Liberty was 107 wins and 53 losses. That's not just good, that's the kind of record franchises dream about. So when the general manager came out and announced she's done, really, are you kidding me? That's why this move isn't just news, it's shockwaves.
I mean, what? Won y'all a championship last year, and this is how you do her. Weird.
But hold on, because the story doesn't end here. There's something even more interesting, something spicier that's now making headlines. And that is, Stephanie White isn't a huge problem after all of this. And you know why? Because the moment Sandy Brondello became free, fans and analysts started demanding one thing. Indiana Fever must fire White and hire Brondello. That's right.
I know the Stephanie White defenders are going to be thick and deep. I don't care. I don't. She's a clear upgrade. And you've got an elite, all-time superstar.
You only need to take a quick scroll through the internet to see it. Thousands of comments, all saying the same thing. Hire Sandy. Why? Let me say this straight. Fans believe White plays favorites. They point out how she benched CC, how she benches anyone who starts to shine, and they argue much of the Fever's recent success isn't even hers. They say it's the assistant coach. Just look at this. Sandy, she has my vote for the next coach of the Fever. Regardless of what happens or where the Fever end up, even if they win it all, we need to get Sandy in Indiana, and that's only one. There are hundreds more like it. Fans aren't whispering, they're shouting, loud, demanding change.
Sabrina, you want to come for the party? Sandy, would you like to be in Indiana? Have you ever tried the Indiana barbecue out in the hood? Come on now.
But do you know what's the actual reason behind this demand? Caitlin Clark. Yes, you heard it right. They want Sandy Brondello and Caitlin Clark together. And to me personally, it's a dream duo.
Sandy, would you like to be in Indiana? Have you ever tried the Indiana barbecue out in the hood? Come on now. I think we need to make a move to get Sandy Brondello to the Indiana Fever, man. I think this is Sandy Brondello with Caitlin Clark. This is the closest thing we would get to Lisa Bluter style.
Now, if you're wondering why fans won't stop screaming for this pairing, let me just rewind you to the 2025 NBA All-Star Game. Seriously, this was wild. In an unprecedented move, Clark actually traded for Brondello to coach her team. Think about that. A player trading for a coach? That's unheard of. But Clark wanted Sandy by her side, and she made it happen. And the chemistry? Off the charts. Even though Clark was sidelined with a groin injury, Sandy didn't let her fade into the background. No, she empowered her. She gave her the role of honorary assistant coach. Clark was calling plays, giving feedback, leading like she always does. And Sandy? She was hyping her up the entire way, saying she'd let Caitlin coach as much as she wants.
I'm sorry. This is exactly the kind of coach. I've brought her name up a few times. I just never thought she'd be available, to be frank.
Personally love that. Because here's the thing. Clark is this fiery, dynamic leader who thrives when she's free to be herself. And Sandy's coaching style, it's flexible, empowering, almost tailor-made for Caitlin. Fans saw it too. One even said, I hope the Fever signs her and gets rid of Stephanie White. The chemistry between Caitlin and Sandy at the All-Star game was undeniable.
I think Sandy Brondello is the best option for us to get the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Bring in Sandy. Bring in Sandy, and it's going to be showtime, because I believe if you get Sandy, Sabrina Ionescu's a free agent. Breanna Stewart is a free agent. We talking big business now. We talking big boy stuff.
Now, if you got excited imagining that dream duo, here's the twist, and trust me, it will hit you hard. Because in the WNBA, a lot of fans believe there's an agenda against Caitlin Clark and Sandy Brondello. And honestly, when you start connecting the dots, it doesn't feel like just a wild guess anymore. Look at what people are saying. Sandy once smiled and laughed with Caitlin, and they fired her for it. Sounds dramatic, right? But is it really? I mean, think about it. We've already seen how Caitlin has been limited, controlled, forced to play inside systems that keep her from being her full self. And Stephanie White's coaching, it has been part of that. Designs that box Caitlin in instead of letting her fly.
The Fever's going to mess this up. Kind of like Caitlin Clark being out and there's no way to bring her back. I mean, if that team makes the finals, the Fever organization, Caitlin's representatives, Nike, the WNBA, the NBA better move heaven and earth to figure out how to get Caitlin Clark on the court, because if they don't, it'll...
So here's the irony. Sandy Brondello is the one coach who actually lets Caitlin be Caitlin, who trusts her creativity, who values her leadership. And the league's response? Remove Sandy from the picture. How can they ever allow Caitlin Clark to team up with the one coach who unleashes her true power? Because let's be real, this league has built systems to keep her contained. And that's the painful irony. The perfect duo is right here and everybody sees it, except for the people who make the decisions. So the real question isn't can it happen? It's will they even allow it? What do you think?